there is a possibility of having an extension for another 5 years. Let's put our hands together for Global Affairs Canada. So I need to be politically correct. So I have the High Commissioner here. I said a possibility. I didn't say yes. So with immense pride and deep sense of fulfillment, we mark the closeout learning and dissemination ceremony of the WVL project, a groundbreaking initiative funded by Global Affairs Canada. Today's event not only signifies the culmination of years of dedication work, but also celebrates the tremendous strides we have made together in advancing the rights and well-being of women and girls across Nigeria. Since inception in 2019, the WVL project in Nigeria has redefined donor-funded initiatives by partnering with over, guess the number, 182 women's rights organizations across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Now, when we say 182 women's rights organizations, so it's not just a one-off partnership. It is long-term sustainable partnership, and a type of partnership that is not prescriptive, that allows women's rights organizations decide what and how they want to use the resources. And this project has shown that if women's rights organizations have the right support, have got the right resources, they will be able to make change happen. We will see some of the stories of changes that has happened across the project. These partnerships have directly impacted the lives of over 1.5 million women, girls, families through economic justice. Sorry, clap if you want to clap. 1.5 women and girls. And through economic justice and empowerment programs in all 6 geopolitical zones. Notably, we have over 11,000 women have established new businesses. Today we have, this was just before COVID, we have the statistics of 133 million Nigerians living in multidimensional poverty. And statistics shows us that 60% of that will be majorly women. So if the project is contributing and getting out 19,000 plus women through economic empowerment and new businesses, that is a good start. If we have several of projects doing that, you know where we would be today as a country. So lifting countless families out of poverty. Additionally, we have 190 women that have made history by securing positions in traditional cabinets, and over 90 court judgments have been won, providing support to over 9,000 survivors of gender-based violence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a good, remarkable feat for us as Nigerians, and we celebrate it today. This project has been driven by an unwavering commitment to empower women, challenge deeply entrenched cultural practices, and promote gender equality. Through the invaluable support of Global Affairs Canada and the collective efforts of over 100 women's rights organizations, we have extended our reach to 7.1 million women, girls across 300 communities in specific states where we work for the long term. Our project cuts across the whole 36 states in the country. We had two things to do across the 36 states. But for these 7 locations, 7 states, 6 states plus FCT, we had a long 7 years haul in these states of Bauchi, Enugu, Lagos, Kebbi, Cross River, Kwara, and the FCT. Today we take a moment to express our profound gratitude to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who gave us all the support, the Minister of Women Affairs, the various ministers that gave us support, the governors of our states, they gave us specific support. Some of them were physical support, some of them were material, some of them were all sorts of support, including policies that were passed. We appreciate that the governors, the traditional institutions, and the community leaders that gave us all the support. Community members owned this project. They took it as their own, and they were able to make change happen in their community. The lives of countless women, girls, persons with disability, widows. I must mention, I met, okay, I'll mention her name. I met someone that talked about widows. And to be fair, I didn't want to tell her, in the phase 2, we have widows as part of the group that we would be working with should that come through. Yeah, from providing safe spaces and legal support for survivors and gender-based violence to promoting women's economic empowerment and enhancing their participation in leadership roles. The impact of our work is evident in the empowered individuals and stronger communities that we have built today. With a significant investment of 2.28 billion naira, 2.28 billion naira, this project has shifted power to local women's rights organizations, contributing to their growth, capacity development, and sustainability. This achievement is a testament to the power of the power of empowerment, collaboration, and the unwavering dedication of our partners, stakeholders, and community members. In the last 2 weeks, I have been opportune to participate in several events. In the last 2 weeks, has been extremely busy for us as an organization, as Actionaid. So in the last 2 weeks, we had a board meeting. We had several big events like this, couple like this. We had a board meeting. We have a general assembly meeting because we have a 2 governance structure. And in those board meetings, we had a change of leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce our board chair, Ms. Rabi Isma, who is here seated. Thank you very much, ma'am. She flew all the way from Lagos just to attend this meeting. Thank you very much, ma'am. So we had the change in leadership. We had our strategy, a 10-year strategy launched. And guess what? In that 10-year strategy, we intend to lift 5 million Nigerians out of poverty. Citizens' action to end poverty and injustice. And of that 5 million, 60% are women. So we are focused on women, young persons, and persons with disability. So that's why WVL aligns so well, very well, with what we do in Actionaid. As we reflect on our journey, it is crucial to acknowledge this achievement while also looking forward to continued support and funding. This will enable us to further empower networks, local women's rights organizations, and community-based organizations to advocate for their rights and challenge policies that negatively impact women, girls, and persons with disability. To the staff of Actionaid Nigeria who have been part of this process from beginning, I extend my deepest appreciation. Your hard work and dedication have been exceptional. I know that in the last couple of weeks, you've been going around the country, doing one closeout, one event or the other. We really, really recognize and we appreciate you. To our partners, to our dear partners, all the WVL partners in the house, please stand. Please stand. Let's put our hands together for them. All the WVL partners, please stand for recognition. Thank you very much. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to do this. We appreciate you immensely. Thank you very, very much. Coming from every part of the country to be here today. Your resilience, passion have driven our success at the national, state, and local level. And to our partner, our donor, led by the High Commissioner, what can we say but to say thank you, and thank you. One thing about Global Affairs Canada is they are different from every other donor. The space where they are, they intend to be leaders in that space. So in the women's space, women's project space in Nigeria, Global Affairs Canada has been truly a leader. That is one. Two, they work actually as partners. There's a difference between working as partners as working as a donor. They are not seen as donors. They see themselves as development partners. They are very supportive, very, very supportive at every point in time. They are available to work with us. We appreciate this and we do not take it for granted. Thank you very much. As we celebrate our collective achievements today, we also look to the future with renewed hope and determination. The end of this phase is not the end of our efforts. It is the beginning of a new chapter. Let us continue to build on the strong foundation we have laid, advocate for the rights of women and girls, and work towards more just and equitable society. Thank you for your support and joining us in this remarkable journey. Let us enjoy a fulfilling celebration. Long live Nigerian women, long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria, long live Global Affairs Canada. Thank you very much.
We can do much more than that. Remember, we have a probability of 5 years extension. So put those hands together one more time for the country director, Actionaid Nigeria, Andrew Mahmoud. Please let's put our hands together one more for him as we acknowledge the presence of the representative of the Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy, who is ably represented by Mrs. Freya Bulus. Please let's put our hands together for her. Thank you very much for coming. One thing I can tell you about the WVL project is the fact that many of us here have become experts in the development world. Many joined when they really didn't know what to do. But this project insisted that we must acknowledge startup. We must empower them, giving them capacity building trainings, teaching them what to do when it comes to the areas of monitoring and evaluation, what proper projecting and what proper reporting is all about. Many didn't have anything called financial reporting, but today they are all experts in their own ways because this project insisted Global Affairs Canada, through the Actionaid project, WVL, insisted that every woman must be empowered properly, not just in the spending, but making sure that they know what to do. Please, one more time, let's put our hands together for the project. We would like to call upon, thank you very much, our mama is here. She started this project with us. So a few years ago, before she handed over, it is my pleasure. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for our mama, Obi. She's here. Thank you, ma. Lovely, lovely. Thank you. This is her baby. And we're excited that this baby is growing. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Please, let's take our seats. Thank you very much. At this junction, this is very emotional for me, but it's with a heart of gratitude that I would like every one of us to please, when I mention the name, you would jam those hands with all excitement. To give a speech at this moment, I call him the champion. I call him the senior leader, the advocate of women. He is, of course, the champion of the Global Affairs Canada, projects of women voices and leadership in Nigeria, and also the Canadian High Commissioner. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Jemai Christopher. Please, let's put our hands together for Mr. Christophe. Please, is that how much you want to put your hand? It's like you don't want this project again. No. Please, let's rise, please. I think we should give honor to who honor is due. Please rise up, women, and put those hands together with a loud voice. I want to hear you do it the way we do it in Nigeria. Nigeria women, oh yeah!
This one? Testing. How about this one?
Testing. It's working? How's that? Okay. That introduction was clearly so powerful that it knocked out the electricity for a moment, but thank you for that warm introduction. And I just want to say, before I even get into any remarks, what a pleasure it is to see my good friend, Eniobi, come through and grace us this morning with her presence. Somebody I consider a friend, a dear friend, but somebody who I think epitomizes the spirit that's in this room this morning. It's a true pleasure to see you again, and welcome. I'd also like to recognize, of course, Ms. Freya Bellis, Director of Women's Development at the Ministry, representing the Honourable Minister here today. Of course, Andrew Mamadou, good to see you again, my friend, and Ms. Rabi Isma, Board Chair for Actionaid. It's a great pleasure for me to be here this morning, representing Canada, representing our High Commission in Nigeria, and to speak a little bit about a project that's very dear to us at our High Commission, to our government, and I know has made a tremendous impact here in Nigeria. I was quite touched when we first, before we started speaking, to join a number of women in the back for a quick photo. And the excitement and energy in this room is a reminder of the impact of this program, what it's done to really make change in Nigeria in so many important ways. And it's been my experience that change is best achieved when initiated by those affected and supported by a broader community. And it's the women in the room today and many others I know around this country who have made that difference. So round of applause for you, please. So I'm honored and grateful for the invitation to participate in the closeout for the Women's Voice and Leadership Project as it concludes its very impactful 5-year of implementation. The work accomplished in this project represents a significant milestone in empowering women by addressing sexual and gender-based violence, both online and physical, and enhancing their access to education, economic opportunities, and healthcare. These efforts are critical in overcoming major barriers to women's full participation in political, social, and economic spheres, enabling them to lead, influence, and contribute meaningfully to all areas of society. We have seen encouraging and, in some instances, historic participation of women in leadership positions in Nigeria. However, the fact that there are very few elected in the last election, coupled with ongoing violence against women during and outside elections, the rejection of gender policies, and the limited space for women in the economy remains deeply concerning. This highlights the persistent challenges women continue to face and confirms that more needs to be done in terms of advocacy and action to address these barriers. In that spirit, the High Commission ensures we incorporate a gender perspective in all our projects, not just the ones we're here to celebrate today, but including through our Canada Fund for Local Initiatives, which also implements projects in this very spirit across the country. The Government of Canada continues to show its strong commitment to gender equality through the Women's Entrepreneurship Strategy, with a committed $7 billion. So that's money that's spent in Canada and across the world to support women-owned businesses. And that program is also delivering a lot of benefit, not just to the women it impacts, but their families and the communities they live in. The Women's Voice and Leadership Project is Canada's signature global initiative that strengthens our feminist international policy. Through this project, Canada has committed approximately $150 million over 5 years to 33 projects in 31 countries. And I always like to remind people it's Nigeria who is actually the biggest recipient of this program. to the tune of about $10 million. So well done, Nigeria. Of this amount, and I know Andrew had referenced this, funding support in Nigeria is equivalent of around 2.3 billion naira, providing support to around 182 women's rights organizations across the country. This has resulted in a number of notable achievements. It has supported 131 women in their efforts to compete for election positions within their respective parties, resulting in 40 women winning their elections. It has supported women's rights organizations, influenced 47 women's rights legislations, policies, and commitments to both the state and the national level, so well done. That's real change. We have seen a historic milestone achieved with 190 women from our 4 project states becoming members of traditional leadership councils, and we've empowered 1,500,000 women and girls through economic justice and empowerment initiatives. That's what I call success. As Canada's senior representative and a believer in the talent and promise of Nigeria, I am proud to acknowledge that the WVL project has empowered so many women's rights organizations and reached so many people across Nigeria. I am confident that the gains achieved will be maintained through the collective efforts of the government, women's rights organizations, and community-based organizations who will work in tandem to sustain, scale up, and replicate these successes in other areas. I want to thank everybody in this room, and I want to mention something that I think is important. I obviously am here representing Canada, and I've invested a lot of my time and career in Nigeria. It's my second posting here, and I'm a big believer in Nigeria. And often when I'm back in Canada, I'm asked, what are we doing in Nigeria? How are Canadian tax dollars being spent? And I can put my hand on my heart and say, this project has made a tremendous difference, and that's because of you, and congratulations. So today I do join you in celebrating and planning for the continued impact of this project. Again, thank you to everybody, and it was a pleasure seeing you this morning. Thank you.
Are we tired of clapping? Can we do much better than that? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was the Canadian High Commissioner, Jamie Christophe. A round of applause for him one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Women's participation in politics and the economy is something that I'm so much interested about personally, and of course, it is crucial for achieving balanced and inclusive progress. In politics, diverse representation ensures that policies and decisions reflect the needs and, of course, the perspectives of the entire population, leading to more equitable outcome. I was part of the closeout ceremony in Enugu a few weeks back, and it actually excited me so much to see women wearing red caps, being part of traditional councils, and I saw traditional rulers being excited about the fact that they now have women in their cabinet, and they wore red caps, and they all looked beautiful doing that, something that hitherto we didn't see happening. Also, I saw a lot of women who had won councillorship positions through the efforts of the WVL project. Instead of just as, one of the councillors told me that before then, she was just used to going to line up during campaign period to collect wrappers and salt and cups of rice and all that, but now she is part of those who are advocating for accountability in government by being someone in government as well. So women, you are doing great. Sometimes I make the mistake of saying we are doing great, because I think I'm part of the women process now. So we are doing great. I am an honorary woman today. Put your hands together for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure at this time to invite the representative of the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs, that is Mrs. Uju Kennedy Ohane, and she is here represented by the Director of Women Development in that ministry. Let's make welcome Freya Kimde Bulus. Put your hands together for Freya Kimde Bulus.
Thank you very much. The country director, the Canadian High Commissioner, please permit me to stand on existing protocols. I bring greetings from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. Specifically, I bring greetings from my Honorable Minister, Barrister Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, who would have loved to be here in person, but for the exigencies of her office and has directed I will present her speech on her behalf. So on behalf of the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, it is my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the National Closeout Ceremony of the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria project in Nigeria, implemented in 7 states, supported by Actionaid Nigeria on the project. This closeout, I believe, is essentially organized to review, take stock, and highlight key successes and outcomes on the implementation of the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria project during its 5 years existence and funded by Global Affairs Canada. While expressing my joy over the successful completion of the project, which has brought about acceleration on the increase of women's voice, their participation, and visibility in leadership positions, especially in the 7 states that participated in the program, viz. Enugu, Lagos, Cross River, Kwara, Kebbi, Gombe, and the FCT in Nigeria, permit me to sincerely commend Actionaid Nigeria and all her implementing team for their dogged commitment all through the implementing period. It is also my pleasure to appreciate Actionaid Nigeria for their continued funding support in the implementation of the various other programs geared towards the general well-being of the Nigerian women. On this note, I must place on record here that over the years, Actionaid has been supportive to the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs through several programs geared towards the achievement of the mandate of the ministry. They have particularly been supportive in the areas of violence against women and girls, women's political participation and governance, women's economic empowerment, women peace and international program, women's peace and security, women's unpaid care work, commemorating of various women's international programs, mobilizing and supportive in the passage of various gender bills currently at the National Assembly, advocacy and supportive in ensuring Nigeria's participation at various national and international fora, active members of our development partners, gender group, among other several supportive initiatives with key milestones achieved. We pray that this support, particularly in the passage of the gender bills before the National Assembly, will be resuscitated and passed at this 10th National Assembly. It is equally pertinent to note that in line with the reports reaching us, the women's voice and leadership in Nigeria has increased women's participation in leadership and key decision-making processes in the respective states driven by this project. From 2019, the project has reached 7,150,153 women and girls, inclusive of persons living with disabilities, across 24 states and the FCT in Nigeria. The women beneficiaries have been able to utilize their inherent leadership and negotiation skills to address overwhelming issues of governance in their communities, states, and the country in general, which earlier defied previous efforts. In recognition of this, it is my pleasure to once again, on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, appreciate Actionaid Nigeria and their implementing team for these key milestones and urge you all to further support the ministry in fast-tracking the achievements of her mandate of ensuring the entrenchment of gender equality, women empowerment, and social inclusion in the country in line with Nigeria's policy agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Goals of leaving no one behind. In conclusion, I call on Actionaid Nigeria and her team that participated in the implementation of Women's Voice and Leadership Project Nigeria to conscientiously ensure the sustainability of the achievements and lessons learned from this project with a view to expand same to the remaining states of the country. Our doors are always open for further collaboration and partnership in other future programs. I thank you all for your rapt attention. God bless Nigeria.
Please, one more time, let's put our hands together for the representative of the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Minister of Women Affairs. Thank you very much for that commitment. All right, as we go on, we would like to, hey, women, are you having fun? Are you happy? Please put your hands together one more for yourselves. Thank you very much. We're doing great. I would like to call on the board chair of Actionaid Nigeria, Ms. Rabiu Isma. Please, let's put our hands together for her. The board chair. Thank you very much. Is that how much you can clap for the board chair? Maybe you didn't hear me very well. The chairman board of Actionaid Nigeria. Please, one more time. Thank you. Let's put our hands together again for her. She keeps coming in. Rabiu Isma. Thank you very much and congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the High Commissioner, the Canadian High Commissioner, representative of the Minister, the commissioners, former commissioners here present, esteemed guests, partners, stakeholders, I stand on existing protocol. Please permit me. The High Commissioner talked about the energy in this room. It's so palpable. You can feel it. You can almost grab hold of it. I wish that a snapshot can capture it, but it can't. I wish I can bottle it up and take it with me. I really do, because that energy is something that if only I could bottle up, and whenever I think of some of the goings on in this country and I feel a bit deflated, I can just open the bottle and take a sip of this energy and be immediately energized. Well, today we gather here to celebrate the remarkable achievements of the Women Voices in Leadership Nigeria project. Over the past 5 years, this project, this initiative, has transformed the landscape for women's empowerment in Nigeria. Through flexible and participatory approaches, local women's rights organizations, networks, and movements have been empowered to direct positive change, and the impact is staggering. Andrew has talked about some of it. 182 organizations, directly impacting like 4 million and indirectly more than 3 million more. Think about the women who have successfully being elected to positions that we didn't have before through the support of this project. Think about over almost 5,000 gender-based violence cases that have been managed by you all it is amazing. When I think of a community that I visited, a community that had been plagued by gender-based violence, where wife beating was the norm, where it would have been unheard of to have a woman in the traditional leadership council of that village, and yet, through programs of empowerment, you find a woman in a leadership council, a traditional leadership council. That is amazing. And it's all thanks to the work that you guys are doing, empowering communities across Nigeria. If you look in the handbook, the brochure, there's a story of Chidinma, and there's so many other stories as well. Her story is a heart-wrenching one, but ultimately a heartwarming one, because WECO, Women's Aid Collective, was able to grab her and evacuate her from a situation that would have meant certain death, almost certainly, and was able to evacuate her, and then Project Alert stepped in to support her. And what is remarkable about that is not only taking women away from abusive situations, because if you just leave them without hope, without support, they're more likely to go back into those situations. But what you find is the after support, enabling them to thrive even after they've left those situations, and that is something that is distinctive about what you guys are doing. That support to thrive in the aftermath of abuse. Now, despite some challenges, this project has shown that where you have flexible, inclusive, non-prescriptive approaches supporting women, remarkable things can be achieved. And when you have even small resources in the hands of women, massive positive results can accrue. I would like to thank Global Affairs Canada for this support, and all our stakeholders and partners, because the change that we're able to perform through this initiative is immense. And we've shown that this sort of support is critical to advancing women's rights in Nigeria. And advancing support to women's rights organizations is key to developing this nation. We will continue to support women-led organizations. We will continue to support. We will continue to ensure that resources are available to women-led organizations to continue this incredible, incredible work. No longer in the shadows, no longer forced to stay behind, but side by side, let our voices ring and never cease. Equality, development, peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The board chair, Actionaid Nigeria, Rabi Isma. One more time, put your hands together for her. It's no longer a time when some persons are in front and others are coming up behind. It's side by side. And of course, if my voice as a man roars, your own should actually roar louder. Isn't it so? Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still progressing, and at this time, we will just take a little break from the presentations to have a photo session with the following persons. We have women representatives of the WVL from these states: Lagos, Enugu, Kwara, Kebbi, Cross River, FCT, Abuja, the host, of course, and Bauchi State. And of course, we will be having this photo session state by state. But first, I would like to invite the High Commissioner of Canada, of course, and Global Affairs Canada, Country Director, Actionaid Nigeria, Mama Ene Obi, and of course all members of the board, the chair of the board and members of the board and UN representative who are here to please also step. I think the photo session will be outside. I think it's just outside. I'll have that photo session. So all members of Global Affairs Canada who are here present as well are requested to please take a step outside for that photo session. The Canadian High Commissioner, all members of the Global Affairs Canada, the representative of the Minister of Women Affairs is also invited to join this photo session. Country Director Actionaid Nigeria has already left. We will go and join them in this sequence. We'll start with those from Lagos. Those from the project in Lagos will join them first. When they return, those from Enugu will join them, and then Kwara will go. Kebbi. Just hold on. I'm just telling you the sequence of movement. And the Bauchi will bring up the rear. Okay, so these ones outside will take the photo session first, and then we will invite the states one after the other. Now, just in case you're wondering how the flow for today is, the agenda for today is found in this jotter. I'm sure a lot of us have got this jotter inside the folders you are giving. It's on one of the pages. So as you can see mine, it's on that jotter, so that you can also be up to speed with what we're doing here today.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we'll let you know when the states will be going out for the photo session. But meanwhile, the spoken word presentation group, are they ready? The spoken word presentation group, are they ready? The dancers, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the group for their own entertainment and presentation. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for them. Thank you.
Attention, please, all commissioners, please join for the photo session outside. Commissioners, join for the photo session. Lagos, if you are ready, you could also step outside. Enugu, representative from Enugu, please stand by. Representatives from Enugu, please be on the standby.
Day, when the morning sun rises, like children with smiling faces, we look forward to play in different places, a free world where our giggles rings out happy voices, and dreams are birthed across different stretches. I can hear the echo that below hope singing. But what is a world without a happy beginning? Or a people trapped without a leading? Yet, the beauty of a good tomorrow rests on the shoulders of those we must follow. The Actionaid Nigeria has made its significance with Global Affairs Canada's development assistance, partnering with local women-based organizations
and Kwara, please
and
join.
Other community-based organizations.
And Kwara, please join.
What an acquaintance. Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria's project, girls have been empowered and women's rights have been advanced. I remember back when I was in secondary school, for instance, I was told that action is a verb like balance, and to be an aid in time of need is substance. Well, for 5 years until now, the FCT and 6 other states have benefited so pronounced, building support and capacity for women beyond bounds. As this 5-year chapter closes, the benefits thereof will surface, increase in enjoyment of human rights within races, for girls and women in this same space. Yes, the future is bright with no violent forces, because violence against women and girls is done for like shoelaces.
Violence is done for. Done, and done.
As the sounds timber down and gender equality is made resound, and the quality and quantity of young girls is no longer lost but found, we stay and we remember. Silence! These achievements have been recorded so far for your inquisition and appreciation, participation in positions and leaderships,
promoting equitable and favorable society in only prosperous conditions, reducing vulnerability through financial empowerment for proper emancipation, affecting lives in the FCT with an overall direct reach of 348,336 young girls and women with no violations. All of these are matters that transcend the ordinary and will leave memories on the rocks of time.
Oh, yes. Memories on the rocks of time, not sand of time.
5 years of impact, no be beans. E no even be rise as the prices of things don dey rise. We don tey for this game, of course, staying true to the cause. 5 years of impact, playing our part. You can check the numbers, affecting the lives of 7,885,793 people, with 2,283,989,106 naira and 74 kobo in total expenses. This is fact and figures. You can go and verify.
Oh, yes, you can go and verify.
But wait, this is the point where you should be clapping for us.
If there are states that haven't gone for the photo session, please go. If there are states that haven't gone for the photo session, please go now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, one more time, let's put our hands together for that amazing Chronicle presentation. Please, one more time, let's clap for them. Thank you very much. All right, those states that have not taken the photo, please, you can kindly do that now. Up next, we're going to be having the presentation of reports. But before then, let's quickly just allow those people taking the pictures to take the pictures in 2 minutes. DJ, please give us a good music, and we'll be back for the presentation of reports. Thank you very much.
it's time for new memories. Time.
All right, we might begin to settle down again for the continuation of the event today. We're done with the photo session. So those outside, if you can hear the sound of my voice, this is a call for you to step back inside the hall so that we can continue with the rest of the occasion today. If you can hear the sound of my voice outside, please start stepping back into the hall. And those inside the hall, you can begin to settle down for the next item on the agenda. In the course of this event today, we will be looking at a video documentary highlighting the WVL project interventions and, of course, its successes in Nigeria. We'll also have a session that will accommodate questions from you in the hall and, of course, answers from relevant people who are qualified to take those questions. I will also be taking some experience sharing and learnings from the project from all the states that are here present. But I'd like to know which states that are back into the hall. Is Lagos State back? Can you wave? If Lagos is seated, can you wave? Thank you very much. Is Enugu seated? If Enugu is seated, can you wave? Let's know where you are. Okay. Kwara State, are you back in the hall? Thank you very much. Kebbi State, are you back in the hall? Kebbi, just wave. Let's know if you are back in the hall. Kebbi State. Okay, I've seen you. Cross River State. Cross River, you're back into the hall. FCT, are you back into the hall? FCT. And then Bauchi State, are you in the hall? Bauchi State, are you here? Okay, so we have all the states seated now. And we will welcome back all the distinguished personalities that steps outside for just a while for that photo session.
All right, thank you very much. One more time, let's put our hands together for ourselves. We're doing amazingly well. Thank you very much. Well, that moment has come for us to have an overview of the Women Voices and Leadership Nigeria project. And to take us through the session, please let's welcome the Actionaid Women's Rights Program Manager and the manager of the WVL Nigerian project. Please let's put our hands together for Niri Goyet. Please, if you have ever encountered this amazing woman, please put your hands together for her. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I want to acknowledge the Canadian High Commissioner, Head of Development Cooperation, our Canadian sisters, Josephine, Mel, the Minister of Women Affairs, represented by the Director of Women and Gender, Minister Budget and Planning, all the ministers here, the commissioners, development partners, our country, our board chair, our country director, Andrew Mamedu, the Actionaid former country director, all the important girls, our wonderful women, our partners that have traveled several miles and they've been on the road. I want to acknowledge each and every one of you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Niri Goit. I'll be taking an overview of the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria project. So the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria project started in 2019. And what was the context before then? Women were excluded from leadership spaces, especially when it comes to areas of political participation. Women are not economically empowered, high rates of sexual and gender-based violence. You have increased insecurity, that makes women vulnerable, and so many issues that troubled women and girls. Poverty, in fact, has the face of women and children. However, despite all these issues, there were some pockets of funding to carry out interventions on gender equality and advancement of women's rights. But most of this funding were not going to women's-led organizations. And Canada, in their attempt to implement their feminist policy, designed this project, the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria project, which is being implemented in about 30 countries, like the High Commissioner mentioned. So for Nigeria, this project was specifically designed to be implemented in 6 states and FCT: Bauchi, Kwara, Kebbi, Enugu, Lagos, Cross River, and National. And this project was to reach at least 100 women's rights organizations, but so far we have been able to reach 182. And the project, the amount for the project was initially 9.7 million, but during the COVID period, Canada, very gracious donor, they added another 750, which made the total sum of 10.4 million. So, what was the theory of change? The theory of change for this project is that if you give local women's rights organizations, networks, and movements, you give them funding, technical and institutional expertise, and they have the courage of conviction, they work with relevant stakeholders who are committed, then they will be able to deliver interventions that influence programs, policies, and legislations. They will be able to change social behavior, social norms that affect the lives of women and girls. And in doing so, we will be increasing the enjoyment of basic human rights by women and girls, and at the same time advancing gender equality in Nigeria. So the project had an ultimate outcome, which I've just mentioned, to increase the enjoyment of human rights by women and girls. And the intermediate outcomes were 3, and they are to improve the management and sustainability of local women's rights organizations, so their systems, their structure, their organization in a way that they can be more effective. And the second outcome was to improve the effectiveness of local women's rights organizations to be able to deliver programs and advocate for the rights of women and girls. The third outcome was to increase the effectiveness of local women's rights organizations, networks, and movements to be able to influence policies and change harmful practices. So what were our strategies? Our strategies were: we will provide funding, capacity building, and then the women's rights organizations will be able to conduct advocacies, campaign, network and movement building, have high-level community engagement, and with stakeholders both at the grassroots, at the national, and if possible, at international levels. Of course, Actionaid is a partnership organization, so we work with partners. And one of the things I would love to be doing after my presentation is to present the WVL project partners. Another strategy was research and documentation. These strategies were very critical in bringing us to achieving our set goal. The project had different types and streams of funding. First, we had 3 types of funding that were designed from the inception of the project, but one was added as a result of COVID. So the first type of funding is the multi-year grant, and the multi-year grant so far has reached 112 local women's rights organizations, networks, and movements. Out of these 112, 10 are national networks, the likes of FIDA, Form 1, Queens Christian Women for Excellence and Empowerment, SOFON, Smallholder Women Farmers, 100 Women Lobby Group, Women in Politics Forum, Nigerian League of Women Voters, Advocacy of Women with Disabilities, all sorts of women's rights networks and movements. And we had 8 local women's rights organizations at the state level, 3 per state in each of the 6 states. Then we had 72 community-based organizations at the grassroots, spread across all the senatorial regions of the states that we are working. Please, CBOs, can we put our hands together for the community-based organizations? This event has been gracious to bring all our CBOs to the national closeout. For some of them, it will be their first opportunity. So we are very grateful to have them with us. Then we have 12 partners that were part of the multi-year grantees who have exited the project but were replaced. So far the grant reached 112 partners from who received the multi-year funding. That means from year 1 to 5, they had consistent funding to work on interventions that pertain the lives of women and girls. Then we had Strategic Opportunity Fund that reached 44 partners beyond the WVL 6 states. So these partners are spread across different states. You could access these grants whether you were part of the 100 or not, as long as there was a pressing issue, and it was a rapid response fund that you could access within 24 to 48 hours to carry out an intervention that would change the lives of women and girls, and it had to be strategic in nature. Then we had the Strategic Innovation Fund that reached 15 partners. This fund was advertised once every year, and the 4 best innovative proposals were shortlisted and funded. Then we had the COVID Top-Up Fund that reached 20 partners across Nigeria. Then the project reach so far, based on this, the funding, capacity building, we had lots of capacity building, trainings. Each partner had at least 12 technical trainings, on the project. We had mentoring sessions where almost on a quarterly basis, our team are on the field mentoring these organizations, hand-holding them to ensure that, they are able to build their systems and deliver on their mandate. And as a result of this, I'll just run through these achievements because we are going to be hearing them over and over again today. I won't spend much time on them. So in terms of reach, our project reach, we reach a total of 7,150,153 persons. And out of this 7 million, the direct reach was about 4,082,535. The indirect reach, 3,067,618. And this is the breakdown of the reach per state. Enugu, Lagos, all that, when you put them together, you have the 4 million direct reach. And most of these persons that were reached are women and girls, including women living with disabilities, widows, teenage mothers, women living with HIV, all the minority groups that you can imagine were included in our reach. So what are the project results and achievements? In terms of strengthened institutions, we were able to take partners, a lot of them from 1.0 to like 3 or 4.0 in terms of institutional strengthening. A lot of the organizations that we have here today, when we started the project in 2019, they were struggling. Some that managed to have offices had barely gotten 1 or 2 donor fundings before. They had never accessed any kind of donor funds. For those that had access, the fundings are so short, 6 months, 1 year, they can't do much. And we had most of our community-based organizations, if not 90%, did not have legal registrations, they did not have offices, they have been working in the communities. They never had an office, they did not have policies, they did not have structure. Some of them have never seen what a work plan looks like. They have never seen a financial report, reason why a lot of donors could not fund them. So, based on the interventions by this project, most of our 100 women local women's rights organizations, network and movement now have financial policies, HR policies, gender policies, M&E strategies, strategic plans, operational plans, and all that. And almost all our community-based organizations are registered with CAC, with Ministry of Women Affairs. They all have office spaces, equipment, staff. They are able to pay salaries. These were things that they struggled with. Some of them, they have never had a space to operate. So the first and second year of the project was trying to get these things in place. In fact, in some cases, it was as getting some of the organizations trained on computer, how to use a computer, how to start a computer, how to use packages. They're down to designing work plans, budgets, and today they are not just doing that, but they are developing documents. We have exhibition booths there that you will see very technical and programmatic documents that have been produced by all these organizations. This was not so at the beginning of the project. And now, these 100 women's rights organizations, networks, and movements are able to set their agenda by themselves. They know what they want to do, for who and where. And beyond that, we were able to build a capacity of 10 out of these 100 to be able to subgrant to 72 community-based organizations. So they were receiving funding and also subgranting to community-based organizations, building their capacity. So we train them, they train the community organizations, and they have been empowered to be able to grant as well. And now, as a result of these strengthened institutions, a lot of the organizations here have 2 to 5 different kinds of funding from other donors because their systems are now strengthened. In terms of policies, the project partners have been able to influence 47 gender-related policies at the national, the state, community, and institutional levels. These policies range from the VAP law, the Violence Against Person Prohibition law, the Child Rights law, through protests, advocacies, lobbying, retreats with legislators, a lot of work. Any of us that has worked in the areas of women and girls, we know what it means to be able to influence one policy. Sometimes it can take over 10 years to get one law passed. But on this project, we have seen partners being able to push in collaboration with other stakeholders, with other CSOs. And in most and almost all our project states, VAP law is passed, Child Rights law, has been passed. You have the 35% affirmative action still in the process. Some are pushing for the implementation in some states. Some of our project partners, I remember, took the federal government to court for not implementing the 35% affirmative action. That was 100 Women Lobby Group, FIDA, WIPF, You know, they did all sorts of actions. There was the 5 gender bills where we were at the National Assembly. You know, we were at the gate, you know, for almost 2 weeks protesting for these bills to be adopted. Then we have gender strategies that have been developed for 5 universities by 100 Women Lobby Group. We have Women in Politics that has also influenced legislations at political party level. Other organizations in different states, these are just a few to mention, but 47 policies, you know, ranging down to women's lands rights, agricultural policies and all that have been, have been influenced by these partners. And in terms of service provision, we have 5 GBV shelters that were supported in Kwara, Enugu, Lagos, Cross River, and the FCT. Women access legal, medical, psychosocial support, you know, economic empowerment, those who have suffered gender-based violence. And one of the successes that we had is the setting up of the multi-stakeholders state-level platforms. Because one of the challenges that we encountered while partners were conducting interventions around gender-based violence is that you can give the survivor all the care she needs, but access to justice was very difficult. The justice system quite slow. So I think the initiative started from Bauchi, where we supported partners. They set up the multi-stakeholders platform with Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Women Affairs, Information, Police, DSS, all the institutions responsible for giving, you know, for pushing these cases. And we were able to see an increase in number of court judgments, and these cases were being hastened compared to the delays we're experiencing. And because of the success of that, in Bauchi, it was replicated in Kwara and the FCT, and you know, this is why we are able to get the number of court judgments that have been secured from project implementation states. Then we have structures that have been set up, 78 GBV paralegal structures by FIDA, WACOL, NANA, 21 safe spaces by NANA in Kebbi for girls for preventing GBV in schools and all that. So much has been done in addressing gender-based violence. In terms of increasing women's participation in leadership, we were able to work with partners, and partners were able to mobilize women to increase their participation in political activities. I know Nigerian League of Women Voters did a lot of work at the grassroots, Women in Politics, 100 Women Lobby Group. All our WROs working on women's political participation did a lot. And for the first time, women who never participated in voting, we had 2,565 of them voting for the first time because they just felt politics doesn't work. But you know, now their perspectives have been changed. Female politicians were supported by partners. Some were giving technical support to design their manifestos. Billboards were printed for them. Of course, I don't think physical cash was given to anyone. And they worked across different political parties. Capacities were built for them to be able to compete, you know, on this political front. And as a result, 40 of these women that were supported by partners won elections for different positions. Then we have 190 women included in traditional councils, 3 young women leadership academy and programs established in Enugu by WebB, WIPF. At the FCT, they have a Young Women in Politics Academy. We have another one established by GADA in Cross River. And these have yielded lots of results. As a result of this mentorship for young women, 67 young women are now in SUG positions in different tertiary institutions. Some of them are here. They are going to be testifying today. One of whom is the SUG president of University of Calabar. She's the first female SUG president. We also have another one in Kebbi State. When we started, Kebbi was one of the most difficult states, but right now, Kebbi alone, we have 64 young women in SUG, in different institutions. So in terms of increasing women's economic justice, we have been able to reach a lot of women, especially with our village savings and loans programs. So our village savings and loans program, first of all, it kickstarted. And one of the things I like about this project is that we adopt other models from other donors. The partners in WVL allow partners to do what they want to do with the funds that they have. So partners in Bauchi, who had been on the MEDA project, still funded by GAC, introduced the village savings and loans, and it was working very well. They just train women, teach them how to save, women start to save, and they raise money to start business and expand existing businesses. As a result, they have been able to raise 408 million naira to support each other in starting businesses and expanding these businesses. And this model was so good that other states on the project began to learn and adopt. So there's cross-learning that happened a lot in the course of the project by these partners. And in Cross River, 25 cooperative groups were registered with the Nigerian Export Promotion. A lot of advocacy was done for multiple taxation, for women. There's a lot that has been done in Cross River that women are now having team numbers. They are not being multi-taxed like how they used to be. So they have increased their income and the amount of tax they pay has reduced. In terms of women, peace and security, we supported the domestication of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325, the state action plan, that was done in Kwara State, led by OCDI, supported the Ministry of Women Affairs, and we had lots of interventions done in IDP camps, especially during COVID-19. Palliative was given. In terms of sexual and reproductive health rights, we have women living with HIV. Their support groups were expanded, and so much has been done in that area. Then we had a knowledge management platform that helped partners on this project. It's called the Feminist Hub, where lots of knowledge products are uploaded there. And so far, both organizations in the country and abroad have been accessing that Feminist Hub. We have about over 22,000 visits to the hub and 9,000 downloads. These organizations are able to upload their project documents, researches, and they are also able to download other materials to learn and increase learning. In terms of lessons learned, we've learned a lot. I'll just run through some of the lessons that we have learned. Inclusive approach to local women's rights organizations, flexible and non-prescriptive nature of the project helped us to achieve very great results. Then participatory grant making, very effective. We have so many lessons that we have learned. Our project reports are on the table, you can access. And some of our best practices, applying the human rights-based approach, co-creation with partners, and not beyond giving funding, building partners' capacity achieves a lot of results. And of course, one of the biggest success of this project is that Canada found Nigeria, worthy of another grants for the WVL. Like our country director said, the possibilities, high possibilities of a second phase of this project. And with this, I would like to end here, but like I said, I would like to invite the WVL partners, all the 100 organizations that participated in implementing this project. Please, I would like you to step forward so that we can clap for you. Please, as they're coming in, let's put our hands together for Cross River. Yes, no, push, come forward. Please, we want them to come forward to be recognized. These are the foot soldiers all these results you see here wouldn't have been possible. Please come forward so everyone can see you. We have Cross River, we have FCT, we have the women from Enugu. Okay. So please, quickly. Thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together for these great women. Great Nigerian women.
All right. I'm sure we need to capture this moment. Thank you very much. All right. Please, let's keep clapping for them. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are the reason why we're here today, sharing the records of 5 years of impact. You are the link between the Global Affairs Canada, Actionaid, and every woman in the community. So thank you very much. Can we please quickly just create way for our commissioner to quickly come into the middle so that we can have a general shot with the women, please? Just create a little space for the Global Affairs Canada team to please come in. We also like to have the country director of Actionaid. We also like to have our mother who, yes, please, yes. Arasha, all of you, please just come in and create a space for them, please. Other women, you can come up stage. Thank you. And we also like our mother who started this project with us, NLB, to please join this picture. This is your baby, your startup. Please join this picture. Thank you very much. Photographers, thank you for doing an amazing work. And I want you to know that we are live on TVC, so everyone all over the world is seeing you right now. Thank you very much. Can we take our seats, please? Amazing. Let's put our hands together for these amazing women who have done us proud, who have been able to interpret the vision of Global Affairs Canada to making sure that over 7.1 million women and girls have been affected, influenced, and impacted for this period of 5 years. Thank you very much, great women of Nigeria. At this moment, women, oh yeah! Nigerian women, are you here? We want to hear from one of our own, a mother, the greatest hugger I have ever known in my life. She can hug, she can kiss, she can give you so much warmth and love. You know who I'm talking about, women? Do you know? Okay, after the count of 3, I want you to mention her name. 1, 2, 3. I cannot hear you. One more time. Please, a standing ovation. Let's put it up for NLB.
Affairs Canada. The representative of the minister, the UN Women representative here present, the board chair and board members of Actionaid, and my successor, the country director of Actionaid Nigeria, Andrew Mamedu. Very distinguished directors here and all the representatives of different organizations. I think it's really very emotional for me to witness this day, and I'm happy that God has made it possible. Many years ago, I would say in 2018, the journey started in 2018, though the implementation started in 2019. I joined Actionaid in 2007 as a governance team leader, so have gone through the governance trudge in terms of where we have been. And I'm happy that I went into that family. Actionaid is a beautiful family. And of course, you know, with a very, very great respect for our former board chair, Dr. Jumai, Umar Ajijola, a great woman indeed of our country. I'm reflecting, I'm seeing some great women here. And I remember in 2018, as soon as I came on board as a Actionaid country director, many women were coming to me wanting to do something. What can Actionaid do for them? And I was wondering, yes, Actionaid is on poverty eradication because we believe that Nigeria has no business being poor. Nigerians do not have business because this country is blessed. It's one of the richest countries in the world. And we are blessed with the population. And I always say that population is a blessing, not a curse. But we have not been able to manage it. And so I remember very well, vividly, Mrs. Felicia Onibo is here. When the Buhari administration changed the election in 2019, and we wanted to meet with the Speaker of the House, we had no money. Mrs. Felicia Onibo is somebody who, she was in the British Council, and I always give her that respect, that in her days as a woman in that organization, she raised so many women of Nigeria to do so many activities, and I was one of them. She sent me to Ghana on one project, those early days, on activities. She did so much. What that is saying is that every one of you, as a woman of Nigeria, wherever you are occupying, are you utilizing that place, that space for the women of Nigeria? She did. But she was looking for money. She said, the Speaker has agreed to see us, 100 Women Lobby Group. We need money to host a breakfast meeting with the Speaker. Before you look for the Speaker, you seek their eyes. But now we had a Speaker, we had no money. I went to my office, looked with Andrew and the whole team. We struggled and we got some money. And then, Ebere Ifendu. When is the women in politics? When are they meeting? We are waiting for this funding here. We are looking for money to have a meeting. The League of Women Voters led a team of elderly women to my office. They are looking for funding. So they say this organization has been in comatose for a very long, And so that meeting in 2018 happened. The Minister of Cooperation of Foreign, from Canada came in to Nigeria and said he wanted to meet a group of women. We were 12 women that met with him, with her. And she came and she said, there is this funding that they are thinking about. They are thinking of putting money in the hands of local women's groups. They may not have, the capacity that they have. Women's groups, how can we do that? And where is that organization that they can actually put this money to? And the lady, Mariam from Bauchi, Hajia Mariam from Bauchi said, Actionaid, before you came, Actionaid has been putting money in our hands. So give it to Actionaid, they manage the funding for us. That was how the journey started. And so it's been out for, and then the proposal writing, I've not seen Nkechi here. The proposal writing started. Andrew is here. Andrew was the head of fundraising, and later became director of fundraising. In all of these things, my team went in to close doors. I remember one Christmas they didn't have a holiday. With the family in the hotel, I went into my kitchen, cooked chicken and all of that. I said, okay, carry the chicken as if I'm carrying it on top of my head. To meet them, because they didn't spend holiday, the Christmas holiday at home. I went to meet them. So Andrew Mamedu, I just dug my head for you, for all you did. In terms of fundraising, because if you don't write the application right, it doesn't get funding. So to the team, and I believe in building leadership. And I think when Andrew came on board as my successor, though he has not been pronounced, I said one of the most important programs that we have is this program by the BVL, Nigeria. And we need to go, before I leave, I will introduce you to the Global Affairs Canada, ambassador myself. Though I have been going to meetings, with him, but I took him there to introduce to them. I said, this is my successor. He has not been pronounced, but how important you are for us, I needed to bring you on board. And so, the team we have on ground, the team of directors, and then the deputy country director, Haji Asweba, she's not here, but all the directors, the teamwork, the team organizing is very, very important for us to come a long way. And when the project came, they said, do not prescribe, don't prescribe for these women. Tell them to tell you what they want to do so you can nurture them and shape them. There hasn't been any fund of this kind in Nigeria. There has been no fund that has been given like this in Nigeria. It's the first of its kind that says put money in the local women's, in women's hand. It's like they said, so do you have women you can work with? I say we have them in multitude. And some of the Actionaid as an activist organization, my darling sister here, her daughter was in Ukraine because of the way we react to things and all of that. In our advocacy, we advocate for the most vulnerable. And we are evidence-based. So I take you back. Now things are not the same anymore. Because of the BVL project, if you do something to a girl now, in any part of the country, we press a button, we can track her down. That was never like that. And so I am very proud of you. I congratulate each and every one of you for the implementation of all the things that you have done. Transparency and accountability is key. If they came all the way to give you this money, do not tell lies. One of the things that actually abhor is when you do something, you look at white, you say it's blue. We will tell you it's white. And we can use so much money to chase them to see that you account for the right thing. It's a journey that was difficult initially, but all of you subjected yourself for it. And so I'm very, very proud of each and every one of you. It's not a bed of roses all the time. I'm sure that you did so much, so I want to say a big well done to Andrew and his team, to all of those who have implemented this program, Niri who came on board, Nkechi who started as the women's rights manager and now she's a director of fundraising. All of the things that you have done, you have come a long way. My charge to you now as women, what are you doing for Nigerian women? What is the charge? We need data. The current president has been appointing people. Have we gone to court to challenge them? Do we have data to know that all the agencies in Nigeria, they have been, really populated everywhere? How many women are there? We need data so that we can go to court. We should be able to challenge them. But as I say, well done. Nigeria at this time is among the poorest of the poor. The political class is almost a waste of a generation. Because people are hungry. We just came out of a protest. Your president, the president of one of the poorest countries, is riding a Boeing, one of the most expensive aircrafts. If I drive to my village now with a limousine, am I not the poorest of the poor? When people are hungry. And so, your children do not have jobs. There is heavy unemployment. Many of you have raised so many children, they have no jobs. This is the time to tie your waist. Me, I have tied my waist already. It is the time for you to organize. Organize and stand upright and make sure that you can cause a change. Our country is going down. But I believe in Nigeria. I believe in this country. It's one of the greatest countries. Instead of anybody chasing us out, we chase them out. In all of your states, you have governors who are looting the treasury. And they are looting it dry. And your children don't have anything. We have also an electoral system that I have never seen anywhere. Where the population of those who are voting is 238. And then those who actually voted is over 400,000. Have you ever seen that? And so get ready as we move on. Let's get engaged at the councillor level. Make sure that you can mobilize people to go to that level and also occupy the status quo. Building the women agency is important. Look at your own self-confidence. What are you doing to the rest of the sisters that are around you? Stop any petty jealousy. Any petty jealousy, because we are losing the status quo. The blood of our children is flowing in Nigeria. and you can cause the change. You are from so many states, and you can do so many things that can happen. Let's work together to leave the stage better for Nigerians. Because I always tell people, in another 50 years, many of us here are going to be skeletons. What have you done? The money you are taking, where are you taking it to? You are nothing but dust, and to the dust you will return. Well done, and congratulations to Actionaid. I believe in you.
Thank you very much. Let's give another round of applause to Mama NLB. That was actually a wake-up call, a massive one. You know, if that didn't touch your heart, it did touch my heart in a very special way. That we need to wake up, and with what Actionaid has achieved in the last 5 years with WVL project in Nigeria, I am sure that the women who will change Nigeria are in this hall. Are you here? The women who will change Nigeria, are you in this hall? Put your hands together for yourselves. Thank you very much. So, a while ago I told you that in the southeast of Nigeria, I don't think, I stand to be corrected, but I don't think it was norm for women to be in traditional councils with the traditional rulers. We had red cap chiefs who sat in council with the traditional rulers. But with the success of the WVL project in Enugu State in particular, we now have women who are titled women, and they can sit side by side, shoulder to shoulder with men in traditional councils in different communities in Igbo land. And today we have one of them sitting right here on the front row. Could you please stand for recognition? Nze Onyemechi Regina Nkechi Eze from Pamodo, Igbo North local government area of Enugu State. Do you see the cap on her head? The cap fit am, abi no fit am? Put your hands together for her. Put your hands together for her. So she's one of the many women who have become titled women, and they now have rights to sit in the Council of Chiefs. And in their own communities, I met her Igwe in Enugu. The Igwe have actually confirmed the fact that her inputs alongside others have helped to move their community forward. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, our agenda for the day is gradually progressing successfully, but we're going to tweak things a little bit at this time. We are supposed to take another presentation, but then to not make it very boring for all of us, we're going to tweak it a little bit and jump to the part where we will watch a video documentary highlighting the WVL project's interventions and its successes in Nigeria. So that video will come up next, and I'm sure that it's going to come up on these screens behind me. So please pay attention as we take a few minutes to listen, or rather to watch that video documentary on the successes and, of course, the project interventions and its successes in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Years, the Women's Voice in Leadership Nigeria project is delighted to share the journey of thousands of impact stories and change lives across the nation.
It's been a journey over
right, while we're waiting for the video to come up, I just want to say thank you to our Mama Inobi for reminding me of the encounter she had with the students from Ukraine. And I'd like to let you know today that she's gone ahead to graduate. She's now a full medical doctor. Yes, and while the whole trauma and incident happened, she came down with autoimmune because of the whole crisis, and she came back as a medical doctor and decided to set up an NGO that will go to communities to help people check their vitals. So she's been doing that since she came back, and been to communities to give them free medical checks and see that people begin to be more concerned about their health. So thank you very much. It was just one singular meeting, and that meeting made a whole influence and impact in their life. And just the way you asked the question today, Nigerian women, what are we doing? That was the same question you asked the students. What are you going to do for your country? And they are back to do something for Nigeria. So thank you very much for influencing the young generation. Thank you very much. All right, are we ready? Okay. All right, so we'll go straight to take our next item on the program. And these are just short presentations of what this project has been doing. So we would like to call on the Global Affairs Canada feminist consultant, Indotei Obang, to please come do her presentation on the WVF evaluation and innovation. Please, let's put our hands together for Obang Indotei. Please, let's put our hands together for her. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here. Please, can I have my slide, please? Can I have my slide? Highlights of WVL projects in Nigeria. That's the title of the slide. I can just imagine the tension on that place right now. Fantastic. Thank you very, very much. And my name is Idoroye Nizirim, and I had the privilege of being the monitoring consultant on this very, very wonderful project called the WVL project. And I call it a privilege because I was able to visit the WROs in the 6 states and FCT within 3 years of working on the project. So I was able to monitor WVL project for 3 years. And I'll try to present some of the highlights of the findings that came from monitoring WVL project, because please, that's all I can do. I can only present highlights. WVL project is too big to try to present more than highlights. Next slide. So, the Women Voice and Leadership Project, which is usually referred to as the WVL project, is Canada's initiative to advance women's rights. And in Nigeria, WVL project was implemented by Actionaid Nigeria, and they did it in partnership with over 100 women's rights organizations. Next slide. So, I will try to present some of the theories behind the WVL project. And I'd like to mention that every project in the world actually is based on a theory and assumption. And those theories and assumptions are always tied to how that project will achieve its goals and objectives. So WVL project was just like that as well. So I'll try to present some of those theories, try to tell you some of the goals linked to those theories, and try to see if WVL was able to achieve them. Next slide. One of the theories I would like to mention on the WVL project was that the WVL project was based on the theory that if you increase the institutional capacity of women's rights organizations, you will make them stronger. That was one very basic theory WVL project was based on. And because of that, WVL project actually focused on building capacity of women's rights organizations. WVL project focused on building systems and structures in community-based organizations and WROs, and focused on addressing the funding gaps of WROs. It was because of that underlying theory that WVL focused on that. Now, in the course of monitoring this project, I visited Lagos, and I spoke to one very fantastic WRO. Now, I'll just shorten the name, Helwi. And this is what they had to tell me. They said, WVL project is our first grant experience, so we've never had any grant before the WVL project. And while we were on this project, we benefited from the institutional strengthening on this project. And right now, apart from the WVL project, we have 2 additional grants. We have one from EU and one from USAID. Now, please, bear with me. This was something they said that was in 2020, that's like over 2 years ago. I wonder how many grants Helwi has now. And funny enough, this kind of report, I heard it across the states. I heard it everywhere I went. What this confirms is that building institutional capacity of women's rights organization works. That's what it does say. And when you do that, you actually really make them stronger. Next slide. One of the second theories on the WVL project I want to talk about was that WVL project was based on the theory that if you made women rights organization network, if you built alliance, if you built networks, if you bring them together, if you unite their voice, they can bring about change in women's issues. That's another theory of the WVL project. And because of that, on the WVL project, there was so much done to connect WROs. There was so much done to network WROs. There was so much done to break any issue of fragmentation among WROs. And WROs were able to partner with other WROs within the WVL project and outside the WVL project. So I'll give two examples. One of a partnership that I saw outside the WVL project. So when I visited WOW is another WRO in Lagos. So WOW said they had this partnership with REFOP. REFOP is not on the WVL project. And I was asking, so why are you partnering with REFOP? And they said, so REFOP is another women's rights organization who seems to have authorization from the local government to access public schools. So when they partnered with REFOP, they were able to go to government schools and provide services to girls on the WVL project. And they did it with ease because of their partnership with REFOP. Another example I want to mention is the one I saw in Bauchi. That one was a partnership within the WVL project. In fact, I think we just had a conversation like 2 seconds ago. When you visit ASH in Bauchi, when you leave that WRO, the first thing that comes to mind is small but mighty. ASH collaborated with Form 1. Form 1 is a very, very, it's been there for a very long time, it's a women, Muslim women organization. So it's actually very big. And they are on the WVL project. So ASH collaborated with Form 1, and they were able to translate the VAP Act from English to Hausa, and they disseminated it in 20 LGAs. Now, Form 1 gave ASH the platform to do that, because ASH did not have the capacity to do that. But Form 1, on the other hand, was in every local government in Bauchi State. They had presence there. And they also are very, very, very strong in the Hausa language and the Muslim religion. They understood the religion. So, ASH's partnership with Form 1 made it easy breezy to translate the VAP law to Hausa and to spread it in Bauchi with ease. No issues with resources, no issues with acceptance, because they stood and leveraged their sister WRO, Form 1. Now, I saw so many examples of that across the different states that I visited, looking at the WVL project. So what this says is that the WVL project is proof of the possibilities that women organizations create when they come together. Next slide. Another theory about the WVL project is that WVL project is based on the fact that if you support women's rights organizations to deliver programs and provide advocacy, you will advance gender equality. And that's why the grant was provided to women's rights organizations to handle various diversity of issues that affect women. So I would like to cite one example I saw in Cross River State. So ENGA is a CBO in Cross River State, and within their community, they have this widows disinheritance problem. And we know that it's common across Nigeria, it's a big issue. So ENGA decided to do an advocacy on women's disinheritance on the WVL project. So they went to community heads, they went to elders, they went to women leaders, they advocated for widows' disinheritance. As a result, 25 of those widows in that community, they returned back economic trees that the families had taken away from these women, they returned it back to these 25 widows. They were able to get all those economic trees back because of the WVL project. Next slide. I cannot talk about the WVL project without talking about innovation. WVL project was very, very big on innovation. And one of the things that was very, very important was trying to understand how did WVL project actually encourage innovation. And when I kept asking WROs, what do you think is behind why you see innovation on WVL project? The one thing that was very clear, they said, was that the WVL grant is flexible. It doesn't tell us what to do. It doesn't prescribe for us what to do. It allows us to identify what our community really needs and to address them. So it gives us the room to birth and implement creative ideas. Some of those ideas, other donors may even consider them a risk. And it's true. So the thing is, many times when you meet WROs and you're talking to them about their projects and what they are doing, sometimes they are even innovating and they don't even know. The idea wasn't really that they wanted to innovate. The point was that they saw a problem, they looked at their community, and this is just the best way to fix it. And it just happens that that best way to fix it is innovative. And the WVL project provided the space for them to do that. Now, I want to talk about one innovation that I came across on the WVL project that still makes me laugh till today. So I visited CGE in Lagos, and I asked them, what do you do on the WVL project? And they said, we provide services to elderly women. In my mind, I'm like, elderly women? People are about to die now. Why are they trying to give service to people that are about to die? That I didn't tell them, I just said it in my mind. And they now made it worse because they said the service they provide is they did wellness parties. Immediately they said that, I dropped my face on my laptop, I started typing because I just didn't want them to see my face. Because I was still trying to adjust to how does a wellness party help elderly women. So at these parties, they will give this elderly women opportunity to have a good time, to dance, to be, as in they give these women opportunities to relax, to be happy. And in the process, these women were learning things about how to make income, about nutrition, about hygiene, but obviously making these women realize that you're not dead yet, you still have something to contribute. The thing is, the effect of these wellness parties were amazing. You would see elderly women virtually change before your eyes. They were willing to live. There was a desire to live. They felt alive. The wellness parties improved their well-being. Everybody noticed. Their communities noticed. They were inviting these women, people that have been ignored. Everybody saw them all of a sudden. And yet, at the same time, they were able to begin to do something productive for themselves. Those were the kind of things that came out of the WVL project. You know, funny enough, yes, it's an innovation because the WVL project gave CGE the opportunity to see that problem and to do what they needed to do for that. But beyond that, I left CGE remembering that maybe one day you too will be old. And I'm sure you don't want to be neglected and thought about like you have nothing to contribute. Overall, I will conclude by saying, next slide please, these 4 things. Capacity strengthening on the WVL project was effective. It improved organizations' access to funds, and it stimulated generation of income. The WVL project successfully bridged the gap between organizations, brought them together, bonded their voices for the advancement of women's rights. WROs on the WVL project addressed issues that affected women, poverty, GBV, political participation, and many others. Lastly, WVL really enabled innovation because it allowed WROs the space to find local solutions to challenges and the platform to implement these ideas. Thank you very much.
Welcome back from the live telecast. We'll now continue with our regular programs. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the live telecast. We'll now continue with our regular programs. Stay tuned.
Every major news story is with Benin perspective and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Wherever you see destruction, it's because God is absent. There is no destruction in God. So who started killing from Genesis? Satan. Jesus exposed him. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I am come that you may have life and have it how much? More abundant. I prophesy as your amen is coming like thunder. Whatever is yours, receive it now.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and thanks for joining us on TVC News at 1. Our top stories this hour. NLC requests extension of time for Ajo Ajero to respond to police invitation over alleged terrorism financing. Former Chief Justice of Nigeria Walter Onoge appears in court seeking to void his suspension by the Code of Conduct Tribunal. And outside Nigeria, victims of Sicily yacht accident identified as search for 6 missing persons continue. And in sports, Cena defeats their foe 7-6, 6-2 to win Cincinnati Open title.
The Nigerian Labour Congress is requesting an extension of time for its president, Joe Ajaero, to respond to the police invitation over the allegation of terrorism financing. The union held an emergency National Executive Council meeting earlier today, and members of the union gathered at the headquarters of the union in solidarity with the NLC president. The Deputy Vice President of the Congress, Kabiru Sani, says the agency is consulting its lawyers to ask for an extension of time before granting the request of the police.
We will honor the invitation of the Nigerian police because we are not faceless organization, but we believe that we need an extension of time after consultation with our lawyers, because this invitation was extended to the Congress President yesterday and asked to report at the police by 10 a.m. today. So we are already working with our lawyers to look for extension of time. But this does not legitimize the charges by the Nigerian police to the Congress leadership. And secondly, we resolve that in an event our Congress President was arrested or detained at any moment, we put our appellate on red alert to mobilize our membership across the country, that all workers in this country should down-tool their services. Comrades, this organization belongs to all of us. Therefore, we should do everything possible to safeguard the sanctity of this organization.
The police on Monday invited Mr. Ajaero for an interview on charges connected to criminal conspiracy, terrorism financing, treasonable felony, subversion and cybercrime. The letter of invitation signed by ACP Adamu Muazu on behalf of the Commissioner of Police Intelligence mentioned that Mr. Ajaero's name was mentioned in ongoing investigations. The letter also warned that a warrant of arrest will be issued if he fails to report today.
That is due to the communique issued by the NLC describing the invitation as an abuse of their rights and several other things in which they have said. However, even before that communique was issued, we had gathered, from our sources within the police that the NLC leader had requested for more time to show up at the police facility behind me. As you would expect, in addition to police operatives, we also have operatives on this side from the DSS to support the police, tighten security, and in anticipation that the NLC president would have showed up, and if he had showed up, he would have come with a caravan of some sort, and with labor leaders in solidarity. That's the present situation where we are.
And to other stories now. The former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onoge, has appeared at the Court of Appeal in Abuja for the first time over the appeal he filed challenging his suspension by the Code of Conduct Tribunal. The Attorney General of the Federation told justices of the Court of Appeal that an amicable settlement is being sought to resolve the issues raised by the former CJN. Acting Director of Civil Litigation at the Ministry of Justice, Tijani Ghazali, who represented the AGF at the Open Court, mentioned that a lawyer who was contracted to prosecute the case died in 2020 and did not hand over the case file to the ministry. Justice Jumbo Joe, who led the three-member panel, granted an accelerated hearing in the matter and adjourned till 19th September.
Well, we are very, very happy that today the court granted accelerated hearing of these appeals. This is a matter that had been pending for quite a while, but today the Honorable Court heard us on the prayers that we filed a long time ago for accelerated hearing of this matter, and these cases have been set down for definite hearing. And you'll also notice that there was an adjournment for an opportunity to look into this matter. So we are very grateful that the government has promised to look into it, and we are very hopeful.
We're staying with the fuel scarcity in parts of the country, especially Lagos and Abuja. In the nation's capital, it seems fuel queues may not disappear anytime soon, as motorists spend valuable time trying to purchase premium motor spirit. The queues get a bit shorter in the morning and longer in the evening. Motorists and black marketers are having enough supply of the product at will and selling to motorists at 1,000 to 1,200 naira per litre. A visit to some of the stations in Abuja shows a sharp increase in pump prices. Other fuel stations around the city remain low, as those selling the products dispense only from few pumps. Helen Osamedekins is monitoring the situation in Abuja. She joins me live. All right. I understand we do not have Helen at this moment. Let's turn our attention to Adamawa now, where Governor Amadu Fintiri has commended security operatives for their professional conduct during the last nationwide protest. The governor spoke at the end of the expanded State Security Council meeting, attended by traditional rulers. Senior reporter Wulabi Adenusi filed in this report.
Seated in this hall are key stakeholders in Adamawa State who are seeking for better ways for a peaceful and progressive Adamawa. Speaking at the event, Governor Amadu Fintiri emphasizes his administration's commitment to youth development. The governor was represented by the Commissioner of Information and Strategy, James Ilya.
And upon this, embark on education reforms and programs, engaging our children and the youth in various skills program and human capital capacity to ensure that they are also involved in the issue of the state for them to also contribute their quota for the economic development of the state.
On his part, the convener of the dialogue, Muhammad Tukur, noted that the theme of the dialogue resonates deeply with the government's aspirations for peaceful coexistence.
Through constructive dialogue, we can build bridges across divides, foster empathy and understanding, and develop innovative solutions to complex problems. Dialogue amplifies marginalized voices, ensuring that our governance reflects the diversity of our society.
In their separate addresses, Peter Ogondo, a renowned communication expert and Umar Pate pioneer president of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, justified the need for dialogue, especially in light of the recent protests.
It's an eye-opener for all governments, including the federal government of Nigeria, to do so, to begin to initiate deliberate policies like this to engage with youth.
Don't become a victim to these gadgets. If you are, you remain completely washed out. Avoid drugs, and in your own groups or communities, try to encourage positivity, try to see how you can detach people from drugs, and try to see how you can build hope in people.
The Dialogue for Peace stands as a significant milestone in the Adamawa State government's effort to engage its youth, promote good governance, and ensure a future for peace and prosperity for all.
And still to come on the news at 1, ICRC raises concern over continuous attack on aid workers. That's after the break. Stay with us.
This is the story of how TomTom gave me confidence.
You left so many words and said,
how will I face this crowd? With TomTom, no Lily. Let's do this.
Stay confident and stay focused. Breathe for it with TomTom.
There's been an increasing trend of cholera cases across the country. Cholera is a highly infectious disease which spreads through contaminated water, food, or direct contact with an infected person's feces. Symptoms include diarrhea, vomiting, and dehydration. Together, we can fight the spread of cholera by saying no to germs. Wash your hands regularly, disinfect your homes and drainages with hypo bleach, stop open defecation, and keep your toilet germ-free with hypo toilet cleaner. Together, we can prevent the spread of cholera by disinfecting with hypo.
Every major news story is with Benin perspective and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV station of the year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
And thanks for staying with us. A reminder of our top stories. NLC requests extension of time for Joe Ajero to respond to police invitation after alleged terrorism financing. Water Onoge appears in court seeking to void his suspension by the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Outside Nigeria, victims of Sicily yacht accident identified as search for 6 missing persons continue. And in sports, Sina defeats Tiafo 7-6, 6-2 to win Cincinnati Open title. We're staying on the fuel scarcity in the country, and we reported earlier that the situation is not different in Abuja, where motorists are left to buy the product from black marketers at 1,000 to 1,200 naira per litre. Let's now bring in our reporter, Helen Osamedekins, to give us update from the nation's capital. Helen, give us an update from there. What's the situation today?
I can't hear them.
All right, looks like Ellen is still trying to set up there. Once we have a connection with her, we'll have the conversation and get situation update from the nation's capital. But let's turn to Adamawa now, where the state government says it will commence implementation of the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira. Now, this is after approved the immediate implementation of the payment. State chairman of the payment, the state chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Emmanuel Fashe, confirmed this shortly after a closed-door meeting with Governor Madu Fintiri.
The discussion was very fruitful. It centered on the new national minimum wage of 70,000, which was passed into law and signed and consented by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And owing to what His Excellency promised the workers of Adamawa State, even before the start of the discussion on national minimum wage, that whatever that comes out from the federal government, that will be implementable in Adamawa State as far as he is the governor. The new national minimum wage of 70,000 will be implemented to the workers of Adamawa State, both at the state and the local government level. And the template to be used is the consequential adjustment table that was used in 2019.
All right, the International Committee of the Red Cross has raised concerns over the continuous attack on aid workers. As the world marks the Humanitarian Day, ICRC described as unacceptable the civilians or those dedicated to helping them facing such danger. The statement also mentioned that whenever humanitarians are attacked, civilians also suffer the consequences as aid efforts are hindered by the worsening security conditions. For more on this, let's bring in the Public Relations Officer, International Committee of the Red Cross, Aliyu Dawobe. Good to have you join us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us.
Or should I use an earpiece?
All right, so I wanted to ask you, Mr. Dawobe, just to confirm that you can hear me, just to ask you what you consider the root causes of humanitarian challenges in Nigeria.
I think there's a network problem somewhere.
All right. Again, looks like Mr. Dawobe cannot hear me. We will have a better connection with him. We will also have that conversation. Let's now turn attention to other stories as we bring you this really sad development. The resident has died after a meeting at the INEC headquarters in Abuja. Although the news of his death has not been announced by the commission or his family, a source within the commission confirmed to TVC News that Mr. Jalaye slumped and died on Monday evening. Niyi Jalaye, an indigene of Ondo State, was said to have participated actively during the meeting, which centered on the upcoming off-cycle governorship election in Edo and Ondo State. Now, efforts to reach his principal administrative officer and other top officers of the commission in the state were unsuccessful at the time of filing this report. Now, indigenes of the Federal Capital Territory have again renewed calls for the FCT to become a state, which they believe is long overdue. They are also asking that the federal government implement a court decision on the status of FCT as a state. Senior reporter Habida Lawal reports.
After Nigeria's presidential election, a court ruled that the federal capital should be treated like a 37th state. Abuja's original inhabitants are calling for a governor and a state legislature. A ruling by the Presidential Election Petition Court stipulating that Abuja does not have any special status and is equal to every other Nigerian state has reinvigorated the clamor for the capital city's state status. The indigenous people of the FCT say beyond being marginalized in the administration of things, they also face challenges of land grabbing, which has turned them to strangers in their own land.
What the indigenous people are actually asking for is that we need to be recognized. Take for instance, myself, I'm from FCT. A lot of my friends, some of them don't know that people come from FCT. We've seen situations where some of us that want to write exams, FCT is recognized as a place, but not as a state where people come in from. So that makes us feel like second-class citizen. When you're filling forms, you see the options of state, your state is not there, you are forced to pick a neighboring state.
And any pronouncement of Supreme Court by law has become an established law. But FCT, till we speak, that judgment have not been implemented because FCT do not have governor of their own, they do not have House of Assembly, they do not have other peripheria of the state status. And so if a court such as Supreme Court have made a pronouncement and in its own wisdom have made a pronouncement with a judgment that FCT is a state, implementation should have been done immediately.
The major thing that should be addressed is their land and resource rights. And that goes to tell us that if that is done, we'll have less agitation from them. And FCTA has robust resettlement policy for indigenous people. If this can be holistically taken by the officials who are involved, we'll also have little or no challenges.
They are appealing to the federal government to implement policies that will give their people a sense of belonging and not isolate them from the development and advancement of the FCT. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
In Lagos, if you drive through Lagos today, you'll see that a few queues are persisting, and it started since Saturday. We understand that it's the same situation in the nation's capital. Those are the two places most affected in the country. We're going to get updates from our correspondent there, but again, I understand that we do not have that connection at the moment. We'll just take a break now and return with more stories. Stay with us.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. What are the news from every perspective? Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Every week, Green Angle, in partnership with Wild Aid, will bring you a documentary series on environmental